Okay, good evening, class. We are going to be working with the Go Math Lesson 6.5 from page 239 in your big book. The central question for today's lesson is how can you use the strategy use a formula to solve problems that include distance, rate, and time. The formula that we are going to be using to work with the three problems that you have here on the screen is d distance equals r for rate times t for time. So that is the formula we are going to be using. So let's take a look at our first question. Question number 3. A car traveled 130 miles in 2 hours. How fast did the car travel? So from the problem, we want to be able to identify whether we have been given the d for distance, the r for rate, or the t for time. So question 3, we will always begin by starting with the formula. So we copy d equals rt. What I like to do is have all of our students list each item from the formula and then break down the word problem. So in the problem, I noticed that the car has traveled 130 miles, so that is going to be my distance. The time, 2 hours. And I know from what is given in the problem that we are going to be looking for the rate. So after we are listed our given information, we're going to go back to the formula and we are going to substitute our information into the formula, replacing each of the letters with the values that we are given in the problem. So for the d, I'm going to replace that with 130 equals r we do not have in the problem, so I leave the r, and the t we were given of 2, so I place that. Now, the relationship between the r and the 2 is multiplication. Now, if you remember back to the work we did with proportions, anytime we had a number with a variable equal to another number, we always use division. In this case, division is the opposite of multiplication, so we're going to divide out that 2 on both sides to get r all by itself. 2 divided by 2 cancels. Therefore, r is going to equal however many times 2 goes into 130. So you would come over, work out that division, or use your calculator. 2 goes into 13. That's 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. We subtract. Leaves us with 10. 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. So that zeroes out, and we get an answer of r equals 65. Going back to finalize that answer, since we are dealing with miles and hours, the answer to that question is 65 miles per hour. Okay. All right, now we are going to take a look at question 4. A subway car travels at a rate of 32 feet per second. How far does it travel in 16 seconds? So, question 4. We're going to start with our formula. D equals RT. Formula does not change. We start with that same exact formula every time. We are going to list pieces of information from the formula and then go back into the word problem and see what we can find. I notice the first thing I find is rate of 32 feet per second, so that's going in for r. And then, how far does it travel in 16 seconds? That is my time. So in this case, we are actually looking for distance. So getting into the formula, I do not have a d, so I copy that down. I'm going to substitute r with 32 times 16, and d is going to equal whatever 32 times 16 is. So 32 times 16. Again, if you have your calculators available, you can use your calculator for this step. 12, carry the 1, 18, there's your it out. Add your 0. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. We are going to add 2. 1. Carry the 1. I get an answer of D equals 512. Going over to finalize our answer, we look at our units, and we are dealing with feet, so we get a final answer of 512 feet. Okay, now I would like you to attempt question 5 on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and use the steps that we went through in questions 3 and 4 and solve for your missing piece in the formula. After you finish, start the video again and I'll work the problem out for you. Okay, thank you for pausing the video. Let's look at the problem. A garden snail travels at a rate of 2.6 feet per minute. At this rate, how long will it take for the snail to travel 65 feet? So, question 5, following the same steps that we used on questions 3 and 4. Always start with your formula, D equals RT. List the letters in the formula and find them in the problem. It says a rate of 2.6, so 2.6 goes in for rate. As I read further, how long will it take tells me I am finding T, and we have a distance traveled of 65 feet. We're now going to take this information, substitute it into our formula, and work through the steps. I'm going to replace D with 65 equals R of 2.6 and then T. Now, again, similar to question 3 up above, we're going to see multiplication in here. So we are actually going to do division to work this out. Divide both sides by 2.6. This clears the 2.6 and drops the T. So our answer of 65 divided by 2.6 will be the amount of time that it takes the snail to travel 65 feet. When you divide 65 by 2.6, you will get an answer of 25. So, to finalize your answer over on question 5, it will take the snail 25 minutes to travel 65 feet. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully you followed all the steps, and we will be working on this during class time tomorrow. Have a great night.